You can go for it.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Welcome to the Chicken Box. It's another Thursday. I'm smiling, you smiling. I hope you're having a great day. God woke you up this morning. You take that frown off your face. I'm your co-host, Impeccable, along with Jay Jackson and the CEO of Afro News, the 133-year-old media company. Yep, the oldest black company. It just happened to be in the DMV. Wink, wink. Anyway, as we get started, Dr. Draper, how are you today?
I am well, impeccable. I'm excited about today's conversation. Good to see you, gentlemen, our co-hosts of the Chicken Box. Yes, with two X's. People have asked me all the time, boxes with one X. I said, not when you are on the Afro Chicken Box. It's two X's. You only worry when it's three X's, but it's not three. It's just two. Don't be a chicken. Get on the box.
Absolutely. Jay Jackson, give me some energy today. How you feeling?
I'm good, man. Things are. I'm finally back home and back in my studio, which is nice. I've been between traveling and my house and everything else, so back in my studio where I'm used to my setup again, which is nice.
We missed the Black Captain America. Welcome back.
There you go.
Hey, tell us about this. If you never tuned in, as a matter of fact, you might have never been to Baltimore, D.C. area. You might not even have heard of what a chicken box is. Well, in Baltimore, it's full wings, fries, it's salt, pepper, ketchup, it's some hot sauce if you like it, and you got to get a half and half, and that's real. Don't order half and half nowhere else but Baltimore. Somewhere else they're gonna call it Arnold Palmer. In Baltimore, it's sweet tea and lemonade. Don't mess it up. You're gonna be upset. You're gonna be like, take this back immediately. But here on the Afro's Chicken Box is where you can speak your truth. You can tell your story, and you can share with the world and shout to the internet what you do and what makes you different and special in our community. And we love to highlight entrepreneurs, and we got a very special guest coming on with us today. Jay Jackson, why don't you introduce our guest and let's jump right into this conversation.
All right. So the Blackstone Brothers Distillery is a family-owned and operated business. TripleStone Brandy is a premium spirit handcrafted and aged for a unique taste. TripleStone was established because the spirits in the area are not worth the price. Three gentlemen sought out a high-quality spirit for a great price. TripleStone offers a diverse array of flavors, ranging from more traditional to distinct fruit flavors. While enjoying TripleStone responsibly, you should find hints of light honey and vanilla as the base in their spirits. So, welcome Dell, one of the three brothers from Blackstone Brothers Distillery.
Thanks for having me, everybody. I'm happy to be on.
Awesome.
The Blackstone Brothers. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I just love the name. You know what I mean? It's
a good name.
You got black in there and you got brothers. So if I just met you in the elevator, what would you tell me? And they said, what you do? What would be your story?
So the story would be simple. Pretty simple. Impeccable. It pretty much. This all started with me and my brothers. Well, first off, shout out to my brothers Barry and shout out to my brothers Jamal. Both from Baltimore, both alumni of the prestigious Dunbar in Baltimore. So shout out to those brothers. But it's us three, and it's funny how we even came to the table to get started to having our own distillery. It started from just one late night of drinking, and we weren't happy with what we were consuming, and we decided to embark on a journey and saying like, hey, we can do this ourselves. And it went from there. But I would say Impeccable, we're a Black-owned, family-owned distillery. We're based in Carroll County. We distill and produce brandy. We started in 2019, but our first bottles weren't ready to be sold until, I want to say, June of 2022. Yeah, we make a small batch brandy. So what that means is our barrels, when we age our brandy, we age them in French oak barrels, but the standard is around 55 to 50 gallons. Our barrels are actually anywhere from 5 to 10. So with the small batch, it kind of increases the aging process because the barrel is smaller, so that brandy is able to, rotate around the barrel and age a little bit faster. Small batch is a tool that's really used by distilleries or individuals who might not have the capital or the time to wait for a standing aging process. using a standard 55-gallon barrel.
Man, we getting the history. Jay, I saw you were going to jump in. Jump in, brother.
Yeah. So I think it's probably a good idea to start with understanding what brandies are, because I think a lot of people just go, I don't know, brown liquor, right? Like brandy, bourbon, whiskey, like all of that. It all feels the same to a lot of people. So can you tell our audience what is the thing that sort of differentiates brandy from these other brown spirits that I think people often probably confuse them with?
Absolutely. So brandy is a fruit-based, distillate, meaning any fruit that is distilled, that is technically brandy. If I'm correct, brandy, I've come across people who also make brandy from barley. But when you think of brandy, you could associate brandy with cognac. Now, the only difference with cognac is it's made or it's manufactured in that specific region of France.
Okay.
And they use a different type of grape out there. And that is why it is called cognac. But if you take that same process and bring it back to the States, it would be brandy.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing.
Okay, so it's like the sort of, it's not really champagne unless it's from the Champagne region of France type of thing versus.
Same thing. Cognac region of France.
Okay, there you go. The French are very specific. They're very, very particular about their names. Fair enough.
And I get it. I'm not mad at them. I definitely get it. But our biggest thing, one of our goals really is to change the stereotype when you think of brandy. A lot of people think of that good old Erkenjerk or good old you get that good old burn. Nah, we want to change the stereotype and kind of make, not to say make brandy cool, but make it acceptable. Give it its just due that it should have been getting. It's kind of been standing in the shadows of cognac for a long time, and we want to change that.
All right.
For those who don't know what Erkenjerk are, go ahead.
Oh yeah, good old Erkenjerk, E&J.
E&J. Right.
E&J, man. It's a lot of loyal E&J fans out here still to this day. I know about at least 10 of them.
Oh yeah. That's fun.
For all you Erkenjerk fans out there.
Try something new.
Hey, look, that's been around. E&J has been around. I don't even know how long it's been around, but I grew up in Baltimore. I've been hearing E&J for like 155 years.
It seems like the beginning of time, man. Like E&J is definitely a staple, and big ups and respects to that distillery and vineyard. Yeah,
no, they're a big deal. I guess my question is, what got you guys? Was brandy the thing that you and your brothers that was your preferred spirit, or were you just like, this is one that market is kind of open and like maybe we try to go after that, or like,
so
why brandy?
So me and Jamal, we're cognac drinkers. Barry is a whiskey drinker. So when we first started, we made a brandy, a vodka, and a whiskey. Mm-hmm. And we liked the brandy the best, and we let different people try it out, try different offerings out. But everybody said, hey, I'm feeling the brandy, and it turned into, I'm kind of liking the brandy into, hey, you guys should maybe sell this. And we took that and, got moving. Like during COVID really kind of gave us the time to figure everything out and kind of like give us the opportunity to, tighten up our recipe and get it to the point to where it's ready to, go public per se.
Okay, that's awesome.
So you talked about you didn't like the taste of the other ones.
Yeah, well, I can talk about it. We were drinking Hennessy. We were drinking Hennessy, and it just really got to a point like, man, why are we wasting our money? I think at the time Hennessy might have been like $35 for a fifth, $35 for a fifth. And that's 750 milliliters for those who aren't privy. But yeah, we were sitting and drinking, and we just like randomly kind of like, hey, you know what, Jamal, you're right. Let's give it a try. And we kind of went into it like, well, it's kind of a win-win, because if, let's say, we're not successful and nothing comes from this, at least we know how to make liquor. So, you know, we won't have to purchase alcohol anymore. So we tried to find different ways to look at it and move forward. But just from the type of people we are, it was just more so an experiment turned into, you know, something that took off, man, and we kind of hit the ground running.
So to make it is when it all figures out, is less to buy it. Not that you want everybody doing moonshine again, but that was kind of your thought. If it didn't work, at least you have.
Yeah,
you don't
we
have
got this.
You don't have to go to the store.
It's a lot cheaper. I would say, and I'll definitely give y'all the process. So what you start for us, we use grapes. That's our base. We use Thompson grapes from different farmers in the area in Maryland. We try to stay local. It's like for our first batch, we had to source, unfortunately, but we usually try to stay local and use our materials from different people or accounts in Maryland. But yeah, so for us, we start off with we make a nice wine with our grapes, and we'll add our ingredients to that wine, and we'll let that wine, you know, ferment for a certain amount of time. Then from that wine aging, we take that wine and put it directly into the distill. And from that, we do a double distillation on that wine. And then after that distillation, it goes directly into the barrel. And it ages, since we do small batch, we age it for equivalent of about 3.5 to 4 years. Wow. We usually push for 4 years so we can get it to a nice VS. And for the most part, that's the skeleton process of how, from start to finish, how we get everything made.
Dr. Draper?
I know I'm just learning because I don't know anything about this. Listen, for those who are watching, if you're just tuning in, this is the Chicken Boxx, powered by the 133-year-old Afro News. Go to afro.com to find out more about us. But today we're talking about Blackstone Brothers Distillery. You said something really important, regardless of the business. You said that your experiment turned into a business. Can you say something to potential entrepreneurs, people who are thinking about a business? You know, a lot of times we think about doing something, and then 5 years passes by, 10 years pass by, we don't do it, but we think about it. So can you say a little bit about that statement, that your experiment turned into a business? What did it take for you and your brothers to just jump into business, besides the fact that you were looking for an alternative to something that you like to do?
Man, it was honestly, Dr. Draper, I don't want to say it like this, because when it comes to me and my brothers and our actual village, we actually kind of carry things like this. First off, me, Jamal, and Barry, we all attended and graduated from Frostburg State University. And just from me and Jamal are part of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to the Mu Epsilon chapter. It's Frostburg State University. But from just being in school with those brothers and then just working with those brothers, we already had the relationship and kind of the know-how to, you know, move. And then at the bare minimum, we're all doers. So if we say something, it's a 99.9% chance we're going to do it. So for us, it was pretty easy from turning an idea to reality. Now, to, you know, all the listeners and viewers out there, I would say, you know, if you're sitting on an idea, I would say think about it. Depending on your religious background, you know, pray on it and make sure you can take the proper steps to creating that business without impacting or taking away from your household needs, if possible, if that makes sense.
It makes sense.
Because
What do some of those steps look like? Because there are a lot of people I talk to. I know Impeccable Jay, you may too, and you too, Dell, that say, I got this great idea. I want to be in business. I want to work for myself. I don't want to keep having to do the same 9 to 5, but they don't do it. Right. So
Right.
I think, and I tell a lot of people, like, it's not easy. Like it's not easy. Like it's easy to like, hey, yeah, I'm gonna start a business. I'm gonna go get my LLC. It's easy to actually do those things. I'm gonna get my LLC. I'm gonna go apply for my EIN. The LLC can be, started in approximately 10 minutes.
yep.
So it's easy to get something up and running, but to maintain it, that's the tough part. So it's essentially, it has to be a driver. You have to want to do it. It's not all talks. It's just, it kind of has to be a lifestyle. It has to be whatever your business is or your journey or whatever you decide to, put your time in. That has to be your lifestyle. So it has to be a part of you. You can't just talk about it. It has to be within your DNA to get it done. Like I'm in the distillery right now, but waiting on the delivery of new equipment. But you have to make sacrifices. Unfortunately, you're gonna miss. You might miss certain events. You might miss certain social events. You might miss certain life events. But you got to figure it out, especially if you're taking on the responsibility of, your regular 9 to 5. You might have kids. You might be married. Whatever's going on in your life, you have to deal with all that and then prioritize it. And then, start to work on your business. But, I encourage everybody to take a look and break it down like that. And even if you don't want to do it, I think that's fine too. I think it's totally fine that you're aware enough to say, hey, no, it's not for me. I'm gonna go get this 9 to 5 money and, I'm gonna chill out and relax and enjoy my weekend. I'm not mad at it. I wish I could be like that, but it's something in me that demands more. And that's how I ended up part of this journey.
Dell, you're getting everybody excited, though. For all the people out there with a little entrepreneurial spirit, they starting to wake up. 3 alpha good brothers of the Divine Nine down there in Frostburg State. We know y'all know how to do it. Listen, every alpha I know is smart. You can't even be an alpha if you're not smart. So
yeah.
Shout out to the alphas. Listen, we have your team. Another partner in time in business, Roger Gore, who's just jumped into the back office. Let's see if we can get him into the conversation. Roger, how are you this morning?
How you doing? Apologize. I didn't get that link that I just received. I was sitting there on the call like around 11:45 saying, where is everybody? But appreciate you guys sending it out to me. But now I'm on the call. So how's everybody doing?
Hey, doing great.
We're
Okay,
fantastic, Roger. We got to see you at the Afro's Black Business Matters conference down at the Reginald Lewis Museum. And man, I've got a chance to meet you. You got a magnetic personality. I'm going to just give you a quick intro. You're a visionary founder of Alisar Vodka and GNatural Spirits, Inc., 2 innovative, award-winning, and reflect excellence, cultural pride, and entrepreneurial spirit. I'm not going to tell too much of your story because you're right here with me. Sometimes you can read things on the internet, but when you got them live, you might as well. So if I met you, Al, at the conference for the first time, what would you tell me about your brand?
Yeah, you're a dynamic person also. We clicked day one when we got together. And the thing is, I was kind of listening in as the young gentleman was chatting about entrepreneurship, and he made some key points. It's for the few, not the many. But once you take the commitment and you make the commitment, the one thing that you have to commit and nail in the ground is that you will never, ever, ever, ever quit. Never give up. Pivot, reinvent, rebrand, rethink, remarket. Never give up. So the thing I look at, a lot of people are now starting to enter spirits business. I've been in cosmetics and I've been in the distribution for 36 years now. And I'm doing a master class actually coming up to help people in distribution and spirits because this is the part that we're not getting. I made a great statement about you get an LLC in 15 minutes. You can get a bank account right after that. But the thing is, did you study? Did you learn? Did you understand the business that you were getting in? It's more than a label. I say from the grain to the glass. And this is what we're seeing on so many different levels that you have to really understand. I tell somebody before you dive in it by yourself, dive in it with somebody else that's already in it, because then you'll learn. Because you can make 250 to millions of dollars of mistakes diving in this thing without all the information you need. This is nothing to play with. I think entrepreneurial is probably the most rewarding. Not that anything wrong with 9 to 5, not that anything's wrong with being a W-2 employee, but entrepreneurship is the unknown. No matter how you plan, no matter what you put on paper, the thing that makes it exciting is the unknown. And that's what tests you to see what you're made of. And that's what perseverance is so important because no matter how many times you miss, I never say you lose. There's no losing in entrepreneurship. It's winning and lessons. Keep winning, keep learning.
I love that, and I like the fact that you're doing a master class, Roger. That's good because that probably could help people no matter what their business model is. So you've got how many years with your vodka brand?
And that's what's so funny. When I came into the industry, I'm about 3 years now. I won
Okay.
the world largest spirit competition, triple gold and gold in three different categories. I'm the only African American to do that. But when I was sitting down with a lot of the industry people in the wholesale, they say, I thought you just got in this business like 2 years or 3 years. I said, actually, I have, but I've been in distribution for 36 years. So I would look at documents and say, somebody signed that? So I come from cosmetics. Cosmetics was the first industry that African Americans brought Black excellence to and broke the distribution formula, the code. Because what happens is we have to continue to talk about the 1.6 trillion or 1.3 trillion, it continues to fluctuate, that we're spending and only less than 2% comes back to us. That's a formula. That's not an accident. That's a formula. So anytime that we demand and we stand up and we are persistent in getting access. They only let us do it if it meets that formula. And what I mean by that, the African American owners like Dudley, Softsheen, Johnson, Proline, all these guys back in the 50s and 60s, they came together and broke the code. That's why all of them were millionaires. But today they're gone. I don't know how much of that information was passed down. It was passed down to me because I was in the industry. I'm bringing it to the spirits because when I look at the contracts that's out here, that's the same thing they did to us in cosmetics in the 50s. So, yes, there's a demand for our brands, but always remember the distributor and the retailer are married.
Absolutely.
So, so they're going to make sure that they're going to make money and they've been making it forever. If you look at the record industry, same thing. Stand on the stage with an award, but the one that got paid were the distributors, the
Right.
labels, like that. So I'm trying to get the spirits industry to kind of come together, use my experience. That's what I'm doing a master class to show them how we have to come together and break this code. Um, Fawn Weaver, she should get a lifetime for the story that she undiscovered with Nearest and the brand she put together, as well as being able to articulate why it's important that we support that brand. But she came from real estate. So I don't know who did she get around or who did she mentor with to explain to her about this business, about big box stores and things like that. When they know you don't know,
Oh yeah,
they're
that's
gonna take every dime you
full
got,
advantage.
and,
That's right.
and they have
Take
no remorse about it. Yeah.
take full advantage.
So when
This
I
is yeah, this is a
go ahead.
sidebar. We had George Johnson on. You know, he's written a book, Afro Sheen, and so George Johnson came on to talk about the same thing about how he
Yep.
broke into that industry and how. But
Broken.
what I like about this, and I want to get Dell back in the conversation as well, is that you're willing and able and pushing the information down so that other people can benefit from it. Kudos. So often that doesn't happen. Del, what's been your experience with that in the business?
Um, and first off, man, it's great to meet you.
Same
Roger
here, brother.
Gore, it's great to meet you, man. I love to to hear the knowledge from the ones that have come before me. So we would definitely, if possible, we would definitely love to exchange information with you after this call to see if we could be a part of that master class. And
Yeah.
to
What
answer,
I
oh, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, you're good, bro. I'm sorry.
No, I was actually going to answer Dr. Draper's question. Sorry.
Go for it.
So, to answer your question, Dr. Draper, I would say that the experience has been, it's been the same. We actually self distribute. So, we do our own distribution. So we're going from liquor store, whether it's a liquor store, restaurant, bar, lounge, with any account. We have a license to distribute in Maryland and DC currently. We're working on Virginia. We'll probably be good to go in Virginia by 2026, if I had to guess. But we've received a lot of opportunities, you know, and I say that speaking from, unfortunately, a lot of us we're not in the space to, to give brothers or sisters in this lane a chance. So, we've received a lot of opportunity and we've met a lot of good people. Actually, we've been blessed to meet a lot of good people. Now, also, it's on the other side. It explains everything what Mr. Gore has been saying. Like, people will get over on you and take every penny you have if you're not knowledgeable. But luckily, from us doing our own research, from getting with the Maryland Distillers Guild, we've learned a lot, and we've been able to align ourselves to be 100% compliant and just know how to move, in this game. I think right now we're kind of just at the point now where we're eager to build relationships with people that look like us, and get ready to work with and create different ventures.
That's great. I think one of the problems that people have, though, and I want to go back to Mr. Gore and then give Jay and Impeccable certainly an opportunity to ask, is scaling. I think for all businesses. So that Roger and Mr. Gore, what do you say about that when the company, this entrepreneur, small business is doing a lot of what Dell was talking about doing themselves, and how scalable is that?
Well, the thing is that's why I'm gonna keep using the cosmetics because they broke it. Is that those manufacturers got together at their trade shows on Saturday and discuss distribution, discuss packaging, what they could collaborate on, what they could buy together, what they could pool together on. When they stepped out, it's like a basketball. They're different teams, but behind closed doors, they were organized, and that ensured that they were all going to be successful financially. That's the key, financial success. Because I tell people, don't get addicted to the praise, get addicted to the hustle. Because you get addicted to the praise, then you're forgetting the business. You're not looking at um, the money side of it, the financial side of it. Tito's is the number one brand vodka in the entire world. I don't care who you look and who you talk about. But you got to realize why he's the number one. And that's what I studied before I got into this industry. Same thing for Jack Daniels down the line. When I come into something or industry or area, I look at things differently than anybody else based on my experience. So when you're looking at them being able to distribute our own products and being able to deliver our own products, It's still a whole nother part of the game that we don't understand why Tito's is number one. So when you look at access, I had a bill written up last year. I wrote a bill for Maryland Assembly that would give us access in African American communities. 20% of the brands on any shelf that's licensed should be African American brands. There's no reason we should be 81% of the population and got less than 2% or 1% of shelf space. So they shot it down, but what it led to is the liquor stores coming to the table saying, hey, let's talk about it. But they're wondering, well, how did this guy come up? And I keep saying I've been in it for 36 years. I already see all the pitfalls. I already see where they're taking that 1.3 trillion and leaving us with less than 2%. We have to flip that. And we have to flip it by understanding we work together. So when you look at costs, this industry has more costs than any industry I've ever been in when it comes to brain to the glass. And if you can't master understanding how that works, then it's hard to compete with the big guys. Plus, they're doing things. If you Google right now, Total Wines is being sued by the federal government for price fixing. They were giving Southern better prices than anybody else. That's one thing they're caught with. It's millions they're not caught with that gives us a disadvantage. So they're saying, okay, y'all want to get in the business? Come on. They're coming to take every dollar you got, and for you to sit like you have the praise, I'm this brand, but don't have the money, don't have the capital. These are legacy companies. And the reason I got into spirits, because being in cosmetics, I really can only sell African Americans. In spirits, anybody can drink vodka, anybody can drink whiskey. So we should not limit ourselves. We should be blacks that own brands and not a black brand. So I'm trying to teach that as well. In certain areas, we change our marketing, we change our partners, because you want to be able to go after everybody, not just our people that look like us.
Yep. Excellent point.
If you just if you just jumped in, people, this is the Chicken Box, powered by the 133-year-old Afro News. We've been a newspaper. We've now a media company. We got to keep transforming every time this medium. People, it doesn't matter where they get their information. They just want to get it where they have their device. Now, if your device is still a newspaper, we got that for you. But if you are digital like the whole world, we have that. Go to afro.com. Check us out. For less than 2 Uber Eats, you're going to support a black journalist. You're going to support an institution that's going to only share your stories when nobody else won't. Dell and Roger don't meet, maybe. They might meet somewhere along the way because they're in the same industry, but they don't meet without the Afro. You guys don't hear about some of these stories without the Afro. You don't get a chance to look into these brothers' brands without the Afro. And we've been glad to tell the stories for over 133 years. So that's our little commercial. It's really a big commercial, because if you don't believe and talk about yourself, when somebody meets you, that I don't even know how you're going to expect them to even do business with you if you don't have that energy. And both of you guys bring the energy that we're looking to and the passion that you feel about your business. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about that distribution one more time, because I've been in the music business a long time too. So Roger, how do we break the code, or is that the master class? That's what happens in the master class.
Because I understand how difficult distribution is, especially when you're talking about African Americans. And again, when you talk about 1.6 trillion, I reason I see 1.3, 1.6 because it fluctuates, goes into the economy, less than 2% comes back to us. We're the only race that can't go into another community and make money. Everybody can come into our community, from Indians to Asians to Latinos, and make money. We can't go into anybody else's community. That's why spirits are so important. But when you look at it, and you think about the code, I met Jamal a couple of times. Jamal's a dynamic brother, dynamic speaker, dynamic pastor. He was pastor since he was a kid. But
You're talking about Dr. Jamal Bryant.
Dr. Jamal Bryant, correct.
Okay.
So you threw the 1-2 punch, but we need to shift now to a boycott, not a boycott, a boycott. Why? The boycott will help redistribute the money that we're spending currently to go back into African American brands. We need to know what brands on the shelf are actually black owned, what brands in liquor stores, what apparels. Now let's start. We got this energy. Let's not pull back our resources. Let's redirect our resources that it goes to these black brands because MLK back in the day when they did the bus boycott, there was no black employees, no black bus drivers, no black owners. Now it's different. The landscape is different. So when you look at where he is in this boycott, we have to shift gears because if not, and he should have sat down with some industry people, let's say Target, for instance. Target, when the numbers came out in April, they did lose 2%. They gave Jamal and others that we did the boycott some credit for that. But they never talked about the brands on the shelf. The black brands on the shelf lost 33 to 52%. If they're in their 50s, that means that probably was their only channel. So they lost a ton. So whenever you do something, you have to figure out how can you accomplish your goal and protect those that's on your side. So there should have been something that we had put in some mechanism that would have protected those black brands because Target at this point, after 90 days, can call reclamation, take those brands off the shelf. And because there's so many targets, they'll throw them in a crate back to the warehouse. They'll be destroyed, and those brands will get a bill, and those brands will be out of business. So we have to figure out how to get the same goal, reach the same goal, but protect our brands that's on the shelf. With the boycott, that would shift and start building that 2%. It'll get to 10% because now we're looking where to spend our money at. When you look at how they look at distribution, I'm not picking on Fawn. I like Fawn, but I'm just giving you a case study so you understand.
Explain to everybody who Fawn is, because people might
Oh,
not
I'm
know.
sorry. So Fawn Weaver owns Uncle Nearest, and Uncle Nearest is out of Tennessee. So I'm an entrepreneur, and anybody's going to understand. If you raise $1 million, that's like wow, I got $1 million. If you raise 15, you're like whoa, praise the Lord. If you raise 25, you're a unicorn. You can really go. Farm raised $260 million just from investors, another $100 million from the bank. That's $360 million. So now when you look at them seeing with that kind of war chest, they took every dime of it. And they took it because that deal from the beginning to the end is messed up. There's no way you can have 300 something $million and you're making $89 million and you're only keeping 5 million a year. It's not even mathematically impossible in distribution. So that means that deal was messed up from the beginning to the end. But what makes it more worse is that if they already got the $360 million in their pocket, and we're now got $100 million bill, and everybody's running to the shelves. Where do you think that money gonna go? Not going to farm. It's gonna
Right.
go
So
to
we're
them.
talking about Uncle Nearest people. You
So
probably
at
seen
the
Uncle Nearest and
at the
you've
there you
seen
go.
the
So at the
story.
end of the day, they would have made about $660 million of our money. Not all, because she has a lot of people that are white that buy her product as well. But the point is that the money didn't come to us. The money didn't come to her. So that's when they let you do things like that. So to let you in 50 states and 10 countries is new that they were going to make the lion's share, and you are the mouthpiece. So when the judge said keep Fawn as the mouthpiece, I just shook my head like, wow, you telling me y'all gonna make her the marketing person while y'all collecting another hundred and something $million. So we have to be smart from day one. That's why I use this term constantly, day one. Day one, you have to understand how this channel works and how you're supposed to be structured financially and how you're supposed to penetrate markets financially. Get out of the praise, get into the hustle. So when you look at what she's done, and now you're at 300, $400 million, I feel we're just throwing money down the drain at this point. We have to look at the companies that are younger, the companies that may be more sounder, and I have to teach as many as I can how to structure your distribution deal. When you walk into a distribution deal and they lay the paper in front of you, that's not something you're forced to sign. There's negotiations from there, but make sure you come to the table with your numbers because you know what you have to make. I used to speak to Mr. Bronner, who owned Bronner, I mean, actual Nathaniel, and he said to me, Roger, the one person in this room that got to make money is the manufacturer. So never sign a deal that you don't make money. So when I say the praise, that's somebody saying, hey, we'll take your brand. Well, they're
Mhm.
only taking it because you signed that deal. And they know it's just like any rapper you talk to, any singer you talk to, you going into the praise, not the hustle. So I'm trying to slow us down and say, look at these deals. And the young brother here that has a deal in the state of Maryland, self-distribute, that's a great deal. So now you got to take that deal and you got to look outside of that because you have to grow the brand, but don't get comfortable with this deal because that ain't the same deal in 49 states. It's just not. So you want to learn so you can grow and expand, but you have to understand that number is so important because they only function on that same formula. Less than 2% coming back to us. But the African American manufacturers broke it. That's why most of them sold. Anytime Nearest got that big and nobody bought you,
Mm-hmm.
that's a serious sign. She got $1 billion evaluation and nobody purchased the company. So you figure somebody could have gave her 800 million. She could have paid the investors and everybody 500. She'd have walked away with 300 million, but nobody bought it. But all
Or
the
she
black
didn't take,
manufacturers,
or she didn't take the
well,
deal, or she didn't take the deal. So
well,
because
the thing is, yeah, well, I
and
hear you with that
I don't
part.
want to analyze what she did because I think that the way it went down was,
Yeah,
yeah, was kind of shaky anyway. But thank you for that. I mean, that's really because those are good lessons for any business.
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of, and I'm not picking on Fawn. I'm just like I
No, no,
explain
no,
to
you're
people when I
not.
say that. Yeah, this is a case study as entrepreneurs. And when you're talking about $320 million, 360 million, she's supposed to went public easily. And it was
Yeah,
several ways for her to go public. It's so much that you have to understand about business and distribution will tell you the steps you need to make because if not, time is not on your side.
that's a good point. And so it's the people around us too.
Yeah.
A lot of times, the entrepreneurs don't have people around them. So they'll talk about the people that are around you if you can. Not giving up any company secrets, but who do you find is important to be around you?
Just I would say, good people. Good people. And that's so far that's what we've been blessed with. Like to obtain the different opportunities we've had. We've just been around good people. Or just, connections from me and Jamal being in the frat or local connections we might have already built from our personal life that kind of transition into some type of business. So for me, so far, it's honestly just been being around good people, being a good person, and receiving blessings. And honestly, doing research and talking to people and saying what's out there. It's one of those things, I guess you could say closed mouths don't get fed. Um, it took research for us to come up with our recipe. It took research. Actually, it took for research and for us to be out to get in contact with the Distillers Guild. We kind of had to hit the ground running to build the accounts we have in Baltimore, um, Prince George's County, St. Charles County, Washington, D.C. So I would really just say for me or for us, it's more so about the people you surround yourself with. And
So basically, though, if you had, not just in your business, but in general, because Roger, you got your 36 years of distributor experience that you just transferred to another, no pun intended, another brand, right?
mhm.
Because you've got that down. Dell, it sounds like you and your brothers, congratulations to you all have done this since like 2019 or
Yes,
2020.
ma'am.
You had to age your stuff a couple years and then you're here. But when you say good people, what other professional people did you have around you? I'm just saying this. We talked about folk who want to go into entrepreneurship who say, I got a good idea. I'm going to open a business tomorrow. It's more to it than that, right?
I would definitely say for us, or I'll speak personally. For me, it's been I've always lived off of your network is your net worth. So I've always tried to be around like-minded individuals. So for me, I could speak on my village, whether it's me like in my personal world, I'm an IT professional. Um, but I could call my brother, he's a master electrician. I could call my other brother, he's a intellectual property lawyer. So just from all these personal connections that I've built around me, they all can dispatch me to somewhere that I need, but I don't have to go outside of my circle to get that overall arching reach or advice. Like, for example, I give you an example. Let's just say Jamal had a relationship with Impeccable, and then from that relationship, Impeccable was able to patch us in with Mr. Gore. That's actually been my whole life when it comes to business. I've just kind of built a great network of people around me, and from that network, we're all able to feed off of each other's network. So my best advice would be, remain around like-minded people, but also be that resourceful person as well. Be the person that you're looking for. I guess if that's helpful enough. Yeah, that would be my best advice. Be the person that you're looking for, and you got to put yourself out there, man. You definitely got to network, and your network is your net worth, in my opinion.
I like that. Your network is your net worth.
Let me swing to you guys kind of teed up a question that I had as far as distribution goes and sort of expanding your business. I read sort of a weirdly kind of honestly a shocking bit of news the other day that alcohol consumption in the U.S. is down considerably. It's like a 90-year low or something like that, which is wild. It feels like it's up, but okay. Maybe just during COVID. And specifically to you, Del, and this was before Roger came on, I know that like brandy is really popular overseas, right? Have you guys looked at that? Like I was just kind of Googling around what countries brandy is the most popular outside of the U.S. and like India apparently is the top brandy drinkers, which is wild. I didn't know that. I understand that it's super complex, or I assume it's very complex to sort of expand out from state to state, right? Like you were saying, going to Virginia is your goal for next year and stuff like that as you're kind of expanding out. Have you thought long term about with this consumption maybe lowering in the U.S., trying to expand out to these other places that seem to have a higher consumption? Is that on your radar? I'm just curious.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So, and I laugh because as you mentioned the fact about India, we met an Indian brother probably about a month ago, and he was telling us how Indians in America, they don't really drink brandy, but you go over to India, they love brandy. So it was funny that you said that, but yeah, definitely that's definitely a long-term goal. And as far as the just like you said, setting up licensings in different states, it's all about research. From a federal standpoint, you'll probably have to get licensing as a importer, or to be able to import different things in and out of the country, an importer, exporter. Then you will have to just find out the laws of that country, but that's really what it is as far as setting up your licensing from state to state. It's more so on that state's laws. Like, so for Maryland, we're able to, pay for a wholesaler's license that allows us to, do business with different accounts. And same with DC. Virginia, you have to sit in front of and do an interview and get approved by the state liquor board. Same with North Carolina. So it's different rules for different places, but definitely one of our long-term goals is once we get to that point to, get established and set up some type of foundation out of the country.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think a lot of people would just assume you start a spirit business or a wine business or what have you, and it's just like you just get a check, you can sell inside the United States. But because of federalism, all the state laws are so varied and complex that it's not easy to expand out. So yeah, thank you for pointing that out, because I think that's the thing that a lot of people just assume, like you get a license to sell liquor and then like that's it. But it clearly does not stop there.
Yeah, and it's the same with your distribution that as Mr. Gore was talking about. So if we set up distribution in Maryland, we might have to find a new distributor in Virginia or in North Carolina or in Las Vegas or in New York, like, so it's kind of different for each state. Like we met a young lady who she she sells a vodka. Her brand is a vodka, but her distiller is based in New York. I forgot the name she gave us, but her distiller is kind of like she works with a lot of the famous brands. But from her distiller being based in New York, that gives her distribution also in New York, in and throughout New York. So she's a DMV based vodka brand, but she has distribution all over the tri-state just because her distiller is based in New York and has a network to those different channels.
It's all in who you know and where where you start, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you. And the same to you, Roger. Does your vodka brand, are you looking to expand outside of the US? I don't know if you do. Do you have distribution abilities outside of the US already, or like what are your thoughts on that?
When you're talking about going outside the US, first of all, in the next, I wouldn't advise anybody to do that in the next 3 years because the tariffs are too high to go outside. And then you got to be careful what countries you go to because you got duties tax. So the duties are extremely high. When I tell any young brand, master your number in 3 areas. It could be Washington, Delaware, DC, Virginia. Don't go outside of that yet. Master your number. Because the thing is, when you mentioned and asked the question earlier about who you should know, your team is going to change or be added constantly. Why? Because you'll be getting to the next level. And you always want the best at that level. If you're at the beginning level, you can get away with a lot. As you start to step up, you need to recruit a different class because they're going to bring information, education that's going to allow you to have a smoother transition. So as you stop further out, then you have to bring other companies in because they have to understand how to see debt down the road. Because if you don't know how to see debt down the road, and most of us at that early level don't have that type of degree, that debt will catch up to you. So you have to have that understanding. So when I talk to young brands, I always explain to them about that key word that they talk about, earnings before interest, before taxes, amortization, because why? These things will keep you in line, but at a smaller scale. Get your small number right first. If you can make money, if you can make a profit, a strong profit based off your costs, based off of your marketing, revenue, employees on a smaller scale, all that's left to do after that is multiply it state by state. But each time you expand, your team is either going to grow or you're going to have to get those that are more experienced in the next level that you're going to. We make mistakes sometimes keeping the same people and not thinking as a business. That's going to hurt you down the road because they're not really experienced enough to take you to grow you where you need to go. And it's not anything where it's about loyalty or anything like that. You're trying to be the best that you can be. And you can still keep people on in certain positions, but you have to grow to that next person, that next phase for it to get you there in a more smoother transition. And you can see over your headlights. Without that, like when people talk about doing Africa or Dubai or Jamaica or places like that, you're nowhere near to touch that yet. Get your small number right. If you don't get that small number right, and I mean right, be busting from the seams, then you start to grow because why? Your foundation's so strong, no one can shake you. But if your foundation is not strong, then you're reaching too much. So you
Sure.
don't know how weak you are. So I tell people all the time, it's great that it's a like I say, the praise, not the hustle. You want to get your small number right. Dominate 3 states. Start in one first and get the process down, get the people down, but get your number right. So when you're looking and you're making so much from that, then expand, but you're going to need to expand your team as well.
Okay, fair enough.
We're getting a master class, you guys, and the hour is 7. This is the Chicken Box. If you're not stimulated by this conversation and you're an entrepreneur, you need to go work a 9 to 5 because that's not where you belong. But if you are, I think the number one thing, Roger, that you brought up was this distribution code. because being in the music business, the distribution code was broken when Steve Jobs decided to put 1,000 songs on the iPod, and everybody thought he was crazy because Sony had the market and thought the Walkman was the king. They didn't want to hear nothing about digital, anything. So a company that was a tech company that wasn't a music company ended up taking all of the market share of the music. And so that code, I don't think has been broken in the spirits industry yet. I think it's still, like you said, Roger, it's that old distribution network that if you're not with them, you're not getting in some of these places. So how do we and you know what, I don't even want to talk about it on this platform. Let's figure out the boycott. The Afro is in any meeting that you want to talk about in distribution, because I already realized, even with Facebook that we're broadcasting through, or YouTube or whatever, we're consuming. We're not algorithming and participating in all of the ads. They use us. They're using us for everything. They're killing our data and maxing it out for a gold mine profit for themselves. And we're the 2% again instead of the 80%. And so we got to figure out how to not just keep saying, oh, they're doing this to us, and figure out how we can do what we need to do, because that trillion is still our money.
See, where I say where we're playing chess, checkers, not chess, when we talk about the 1.6 trillion, where does most of our income come from? It come from jobs. It don't come from businesses. So by coming from jobs, where are most of our jobs at? We don't have enough black companies that are large to hire black people in the masses that we're in. It comes from firms, corporate America. We got a lot of medium jobs, 50,000, 40,000. They control the jobs. So while we got the 1.6 trillion, that's why I say shift to a boycott. Just in April, when the number came out, 300,000 African American women lost jobs. So that means if you're telling me you got rid of DEI and Caucasians are the number one, Caucasian women are, how did all the black women lose the jobs? So they're playing chess, we're playing checkers. So while we got the 1.6 trillion, we got to shift from a boycott, which shuts us down across the board. So people just stop. They don't know what to do. They don't know what store to go in, what brand to buy. So they just don't do nothing. That chokes us. We have to switch to a boycott to educate our people. At the same time, we have to look and see that you start teaming up. If you got a business that's successful, it's a food restaurant, franchise it. If you got a company that's a brand that's successful, find investors, go on walk. You have to start bringing the community into these businesses, because if not, that's what Wall Street was. It paired money with ideas, and now they made money off of other people's ideas. Our community is in jeopardy because I'm not racist. I wouldn't raise that way, but I'm just saying, when I got to give a race a name, is that Asians come in, they got cleaners, Chinese restaurants, Indians come in, got gas stations, liquor stores, like that. Latinos come in, they got work, they got labor, so they do painting, cut the grass, everything. They can go in anybody's community and do that. What community can we go in and do that? So that means we're stuck in making money off our own people. And if you cut the salaries and you cut the jobs, you stop the dam at the top of the hill. So we got to move quickly. So we don't have time to keep focusing daily on a boycott. We got to redirect this money and start focusing on a boycott. So somebody has to be blowing the horn on who to buy, who to support. Because if not, we're going to start losing that 1.6 trillion.
That's exactly right. And that's also what Jamal Bryant is doing. So people go to targetfast.org, which you'll see scrolling, and there's also a database for boycott, not just boycott.
Exactly.
I talked to Dr. Bryant last week personally. He said they're only doing one company at a time. So what he said about Target, for example, was don't be fooled because the CEO stepped down. That's just a chess move. The CEO stepped up and got more money as chairman of the board. So you're right about the boycott, not the boycott, not just the boycott. So those stores are listed on targetfast.org as well. And same thing with Black media. People look at us and say, we want you to get the story out. We're a business. So you got to subscribe and support Black media so that we can get your stories out. Imagine what it would be if you didn't have Black media.
But we also didn't have a conversation where if we're not going to have Target, what are we going to have? You have so many Sears in Black communities that vacant. You got J.C. Penney's that's vacant in Black communities. When are we going to get bonds from the county or from these cities to invest in turning those places into Targets for African Americans, where 60% of the brands in there can be African American, 40% can be general merchandise? Why? Because now we can get some of their money, but we're giving ourselves our own channel that we control that you're going to build out from retail, distribution, broker, and manufacture. So we have to also think about creating something now before the 1 trillion is gone. Take advantage of the places that's already built, that's vacant in our community, and we come up with our own targets. So we can't keep begging. We have to start buying at some point.
Boom, we dropped the mic. Okay, so on that
that
point,
was a mic drop. The hour is near. I like to respect everybody's time. We could talk about this conversation from here to the next decade, but Dr. I'm not call you Dr. Gore. Dr. Gore, Dr. Dell, Dr. Draper, Dr. Jackson. This has been a fantastic conversation. Afro family, thank you for tuning in. Share it with somebody else. We're gonna figure it out behind closed doors, and then we got to come up with a plan because and stop being so selfish. So what we're gonna do real quick is we're gonna get on the box. We're gonna give our final words about this topic. We don't have to like what you're saying, but we respect your conversation. We respect your point of view, and that's what the box is for. A lot of times we get mad because a person don't like this color suit I have on, or they don't like that I wear a t-shirt to work, or all the things that really don't matter, like the praise stuff, all of my dad would say the yakety yak, and let's get down let's get down to business. So Jay, you on the box about this conversation tonight. We got two great brands, CEO Roger Gore of Alisar Vodka, and he also has GNatural Spirits, and we also have Dell, one of the brothers, the Blackstone Brothers distilleries right here in the DMV area, who are making an impact on the community, and they're going through this journey, not apart, but now together. So Jay, you're on the box.
All right. So, well, thank you, gentlemen, both for being on. We really appreciate it. It was a riveting conversation. Look, I think the sort of the background of spirits and, what kind you like, what kind you don't like, whatever, that to me is the secondary story. The true story here is a story of Black entrepreneurship and being able to chase that dream that you have and decide that you're not only going to just start your own business, but you are going to do something that very few people do, which is make a successful Black business. And this industry very specifically garners a lot of our money in the community. It does. And it certainly shouldn't be a case where all of that money or the vast majority of that money leaves our community and never to return. So it is nice that you guys are doing what you're doing and being able to keep that money internal to the Black community and grow your businesses. And look, I would love to, I can't wait to see where both of your brands go. I think it's really cool to be able to know that these brands started locally and then they are just widening their reach out, and they are very Black brands. So I'm always in full support of that. So I look forward to being able to drink Blackstone Brothers Distillery products, as well as Alisar Vodka. I think that's awesome. I think you guys are doing big things. I think thinking about distribution, whether it's in expanding inside the country or further in the future, if that is possible, I think is the right way to go. So I wish you both a huge amount of luck. I really do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Dell, you are now officially on the box. Final words.
My final words would be, first off, I want to thank you guys for the opportunity, for having me on here. Secondly, I want to thank Mr. Gore just for the knowledge and the gems that he dropped, because it's so satisfying to know you're on the right path when you hear someone who's come before you, who's already trailblazed that path. So, I'm thankful. I'm thankful to be here. And guys, if you are an entrepreneur, or even if you're not, man, never give up, man. Always work hard, and remember, man, your network is your net worth.
Absolutely. I'm gonna jump on the box. I'm gonna leave you last, Roger. Man, you really struck a chord with me today, Roger, and just coming from the music business and now being in the media business. Distribution is so important, right? And I was thinking as you talked, and I was like, what is keeping us from gelling? Like, is it jealousy? Is it I can't trust my brother or sister? I mean, what is really keeping us from coming together? Because I was thinking about Alibaba the other day, $1 billion company that they
Yeah.
put together. If you guys don't know, some of these major brands were getting all of their stuff made in China. And they put this massive platform together that you can get anything. I'm talking about when I say anything, anything. And guess who's going to be making it? The people in China. They set this
Yeah.
global site up to do business with their people globally around the world. Now, we might not have enough manufacturing plants yet to do all of the things, but for what we do have, we have to maybe think of a model like that. So I'm gonna leave you with that, Roger. And before after this is over, we want to just take a second and make sure you and Del and me get reconnected. But that's what I'm talking about. We have to put whatever is keeping us from coming together to really dominate an industry aside, because we're doing it in silos, but it's not helping all of us. And so now that you hear that the Target boycott, which I don't even like saying the name, has hurt us as well, and our vendors as well could possibly get put out of business, it makes me think another way. But now, if I didn't know what those vendors were and I was going in that store, that didn't make a difference anyway. So it's both sides of the coin. So I'm off the box now. Roger, final words.
Oh man,
I
yeah,
was going to get my rant.
look. First of all, I thank God sincerely for meeting you. When we just clicked from day one, and the young brother Dale, being an older African American male, I just want to tell you, man, I'm proud of you. Um, Keep doing what you're doing. But the question you asked, I can give it to you simply. It's validation. See, we are stuck on validation, praise and validation. We got to get stuck on elevation. So when you look at any other industry, I don't care if it's the Korean Association that deals with all the Chinese restaurants or all the cleaners, if it's the Indian Association, deal with all the liquor stores, convenience stores, like you mentioned, Alibaba, they come together. We have to do the same thing. Stop judging, stop getting in cliques, stop talking about people. What they have done with us with social media and podcasts have destroyed the fabric of our community. Ebony, Essence, Afro, Washington Former, these publications lifted us up, shared stories of success for African Americans. They shared breakthroughs. They even showed our young people that they were doing and being on the right track. What we have now is everybody talking about each other, but they want that to happen for a reason. Just like I mentioned the formula, if you talk about somebody, we'll put you on. If you lift somebody up, we'll take you off. Well, we don't need them anymore to put us on or take us off because that's validation. We got to focus on elevation. So we can get together as manufacturers, as spirit manufacturers. We don't need anybody to do that. We just call each other and sit down and look at the common goals. One goal, one race, one community, one voice. That's how we have to operate. And we're not here to be racist. We're not here to go after other races. We're just here to put ourselves collectively together so we can sit at the table, provide a future for our seniors, and provide a future for our young people. We got to work together. And time is it's a 5 alarm fire. So whoever's talking, man, talking unity and talking how we elevate. Don't get into validation. We don't need no more of that.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Jay, Roger, man, I'm proud of everybody on here. Thank you, everybody listening. Share this. Support these Black brands. Go to their websites. Check them out. If you don't see it in a local store and you want to experience the brands, I'm sure that they have ways to ship it to you. Is that correct? All right. Good.
Well, you can't ship spirits.
Oh, you
You
can't.
can ship wine, but not spirits.
Gotcha.
So
And
we
look
can
at that.
we could talk about that offline, but
We're
Or you
going
can
we're
ship
gonna
it through
talk,
other
we're gonna
companies that have the availability of shipping it right.
We're gonna go backstage. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. And remember, I said call a senior. Don't text them. Call grandma. Call uncle. Call auntie. Let them know that you love them. You're thinking about them. Believe me, it's gonna change and make their day. Until next time, God willing. Everybody have a blessed week. And if you're gonna speak about yourself, speak excellent. Don't speak negative about yourself. There's enough negative out there in the
That's
community.
right.
Have a great day, everybody. Hang on, Dell and
Right.
Roger.